Hi, I'm Scott Dunn.
And I'm Gina Dunn.
And, you know, I was thinking about something today. I was in the kitchen looking at salt, and it made me think about today's video. I just thought about the first person who's the first person who was like, I should sprinkle this on my food. You know, it was probably, I thought to myself, it's probably a caveman, right? Probably. A caveman was like, which means this is gonna taste good on my meat. And then I thought, there was probably another caveman who came up to him and was like, which is, you can't do that. That's a rock-looking thing. You can't put that on your food. And imagine if the first caveman listened to that negative caveman. We wouldn't have salt, right? We wouldn't have salt. And things taste better with salt. Now you fast forward to today, in 2018 in Hollywood, and there's cavemen all over Hollywood who keep telling you, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And
a lot of naysayers.
A lot of naysayers. And we want to talk to you today about our second feature film, MANDAO of the Dead, and all the things people said you can't do, and we did them anyway. And if we hadn't, we wouldn't, you know, be sitting here with a second feature film. So let's start.
Can't make a movie, or especially a genre movie, for anything less than $100,000, or they won't take you seriously. Well, our production budget for MANDAO of the Dead was just shy of $13,000. That's it. I rounded up. You know, it's one of those things where you have to work with what you got and tailor your script to fit your budget, and tailor your script to things that you have available, resources that you have available to you. So like our co-producers, Chessa Melman and Ian Sumner, graciously lent us their apartment, so we saved a lot of money on the location.
Say half the movie was shot there, so right there, you know,
yeah,
you're saving a lot of money. When I was writing the script for MANDAO, I made sure that, you know, we stayed within the confines of, I knew about how much money we had to spend on this feature film,
right? And
I thought, well, I can write it in very few locations, but it doesn't. But we didn't sacrifice any fun. I think it was just about as fun as it was ever going to be. Mm-hmm. And I actually think that the limitations made it a better movie.
And even our crew, our sound mixer had all his own equipment, our DP had all his own equipment, and our associate producer, Oscar Munoz, he lent us his camera gear. So it was like just finding different ways to save money without sacrificing quality.
Number two, can't be done in 9 days, not a feature film.
Yeah.
And they were right. It was done in 10 days. So, and that 10th day was really just a
pickup day.
A pickup day with a couple of additional scenes after editing, and I saw that there needed to be a few things to fill in, and 10 days is still crazy, but again, caveman, you bad caveman, you said we couldn't do it. No.
We were actually, the reason why we were able to do that is we kept our cast and crew really small, so we were able to move fast. And we also rehearsed, prior to shooting, we rehearsed with our actors.
This is something that I'm very gung-ho about. Always get the rehearsals going before your movie. That's where you know, that's where you get to work on it. Because when you're shooting, you don't have time to explore as much. You should know what you're doing. And, you know, there's plenty of room for improvisation on set.
Yes.
I'm just saying, do a lot of that work in the rehearsals. The third one, this was a personal experience. I had been in contact with a producer in Hollywood, and we were talking, and we had this sort of disagreement, and he said to me, you're not a writer, you're not a director, I mean, you're barely an actor. And I remember hearing that, and it was, you know, obviously it's painful. Painful to be told that you're not something. I had just done the feature film, our first feature film, Schlep, and it hadn't gotten into any festivals yet. And he's like, what festivals has it gotten into? Yeah, that's right, nothing yet. And weirdly enough, a week later, we got accepted to our First Glance Film Festival, and we had a great showing. And
that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the audience loved it, and it was just a nice thing where, you know, I'm glad we didn't listen to people saying no. I mean, no one knows anything.
No one can tell you that you can't do anything. I mean, they can say it, but don't believe it for a second.
It can be really good. I will say, after all the time I've been in Hollywood, it's been, you know, like 10 years, and I will say this: it's about how you receive words like that. If people say you can't do it, you have really two options: believe them or show them. And I think it was actually, I'd like to thank that guy because it pushed me to really prove him wrong. The fourth thing. Oh yeah. This is an interesting one. I edit my features. We've done two. I've edited both. Okay, so
just to recap, Scott wrote, directed, starred, and now edited MANDAO of the Dead and Schlep. So.
And I like doing it, but also it saves money. You know, obviously what our budget is. It helps save money, but I also enjoy doing it. I think that who could know the movie better than me at this point? But a lot of people were, you know, when I was asking on Schlep, like, what should I do? Schlep was my first movie, so I was like, well, should I edit? Should I get someone else? And a lot of people were like, you shouldn't edit your own. You know, you'll be too close to it, and no, it's just not how it's done. And I remember thinking, yeah, but I want to. I feel like doing it. It's not like I have felt burdened by it.
And it's like, who knows the movie better than you?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so going into this MANDAO feature, I felt galvanized and confident in editing it. And I think this is something I'll be carrying forward to future features because it's just fun. And you know, editing really, it's writing is one thing. Directing is another thing. Editing is another thing. Like, if you can do all that as a director, the more I think you'll be more enriched as an artist.
It's also staying true to your own voice. Like, how did you envision this movie? Well, if you're the writer, director, and editor, you get the last say in everything. So the film really became Scott's voice.
And also they said don't use Final Cut Pro. I mean, everyone's using Adobe, and or Avid, and that's true. A lot of people are using that, and there's no problem with that. The only problem is when people say you don't use Final Cut Pro. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
If you can tell me why, great. If not, then that kind of information, it's just so. Yeah. It's like, don't do it, but we did it anyway, and it turned out great. Number 5.
Oh, yeah. You can't make money self-distributing your film. Or, in other words, you need a distributor to make money making your film. That's just not true. So, for the majority of people, if you're really indie, you're making your first feature, it behooves you to self-distribute because each platform, like iTunes, Amazon, etc., they take a percentage of all the sales that you make. Then the distributor takes another 30%.
20, 30%, whatever.
Yeah.
After that, it's like, then you start seeing some money. And by that point, it's like, that's a long time. That's a lot of percentages to be taking out before you see any money. And in this case of MANDAO of the Dead and Schlep, we are putting our own money into it. We're putting our time, sweat equity, all these things into it. And it's like, why give that percentage away, especially in a day and age where you can distribute yourself?
Yeah.
You know, I think we're trying to out Blumhouse the Blumhouse model. They make movies for very cheap, right? And they make
between like
they make a ton back. I mean, the margins on their profits are, I mean, it's amazing. So we're doing that, but crunching it down even further, we're talking like $13,000. That's insane.
That is.
But it also means that you have more of a chance of making your money back and going into black, you know, making a profit with your money. And that, to me, that's attractive to me. So I would suggest let's not let people tell us no when they haven't even tried it. Try it. You'll see for yourself.
Yeah.
Number 6, film school. Now, it's not like people said, you can't do this, you didn't go to film school, but it's not like we didn't feel that. I mean,
there was a vibe of like, oh, you guys didn't go to film school, so like,
yeah,
you're just going to make a movie.
I'm not going to sit here and say don't go to film school. Of course, if you went there, that's great. You're going to learn so much, and it's probably really good to go to film school. However, don't let that stop you if you haven't been there.
Yeah.
Be smart. Surround yourself with people who know what they're doing, who bring something to your movie. Don't be so in your own head about, you know, I'm the director, only I have the last say. Of course you have the last say, but everyone on your set if you got the right people, they're artists, they have good ideas, they're smart, they're not trying to screw with you, they're trying to help you bring your vision. Get a good team together so that you can make the best product. I give credit to everyone on our movie.
Yeah, I mean, the vast majority of our crew went to film school, so they have that technical knowledge and stuff.
Thank goodness, too.
Which is great. We needed it. But it was fun to collaborate with them. So
Yeah, so if you haven't been to film school, so,
Yeah.
you know, if you have a passion, if you have an idea, if you have something you can't get rid of from your head, go make it. Surround yourself with smart people.
Yeah.
I will say that.
There's just no excuse. You can make your own movie. You can shoot it on an iPhone. You can get really, really micro budget indie and make a really good movie. It's just all depends on what resources you have available to you, what kind of people, what kind of crew do you have.
It comes back to, there's a lot of cavemen in Hollywood. Don't let those negative cavemen tell you no, okay? Otherwise, well, we wouldn't have Salt, right? If we listened to all the times people said you can't do that, this world would be one boring place to live.
Yeah.
All you filmmakers out there who are waiting for permission, I would ask you, just don't wait, okay? Bad caveman. Bad. Listen to the caveman who made the salt.
Needs a little more salt.